Hey everybody, and welcome to T360's Flash webinar. We're going to have with us today, we've got Jack Miller, of course, with us. Hey Jack, good morning.
Morning, Dean.
It is morning where you are, Central Time.
It is.
I'm here on the East Coast, so we just hit noon. So we're going to dive in. We also have two guests. I'm going to introduce them just in a second, Tammi and Liam. But today's Flash webinar is specifically on creating a compelling brand story to make sure you can be consistent in how to pull ahead of your competitors in your marketplace. This is module 5 in the fellows program that we run for broker owners and large team leaders. It's a 12-month program. We'll talk about that at the end. And Tammi and Liam are joining us because they're currently in the fellows program with us. They have gone through this brand module and have some insight they'd like to share. But you guys, if you can introduce yourselves, tell everybody that's watching out there a little bit about yourself and your business.
Liam, you want to go first?
Sure. My name is Liam Pierce. I'm with NextHome Seekers in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and been in real estate, 7 years, I think, this year. And we kind of do a little bit of everything, and it's been one heck of a ride. So go ahead, Tammi.
Awesome. Tammi Pierce, broker in charge at NextHome Seekers, located in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Started in real estate about 8 years ago, and it was super, super fun. The first year I closed 27 transactions by myself, begged Liam and said, you've got to come help me with this because this stuff is insane. Liam jumped on board, and within his first 90 days, he just ran circles around me. So we realized that this is a really good, exciting business for us as a couple to run. And within 3 years, started our own brokerage, and we realized that we wanted to educate and help and have the passion to let them know that if you want to succeed in real estate, we know that you can.
Absolutely.
Awesome. The energy just comes across when you talk, you guys. It's great. So thank you for sharing your background, and love to talk a little bit more specifically about this brand module, but anything else that your experiences in running a business and also working with us in the fellows program. So here's our agenda for our Flash webinar here. We want to talk about an objective, what our objective is, and talking about why even talking about brand and what's important about it. We're going to get into a little history, talking about Carl Jung and the Jungian archetypes, get into a discussion on that and how that is relevant. And then the application to brands, how do you apply that 12 archetypes that Carl Jung talked about and researched and put together a long time ago, over 120 years ago, and how that is applicable to brands, and then bring in your brand. So once you then discover and self-discover what your brand's going to be or who you want to be, how do you bring that to life? Jack, anything? I'm going to pause there. Anything you want to add to this?
So there's a really great book that talks about the application of Jungian archetypes in marketing, and it's called The Hero and the Outlaw. And that's where in a lot of marketing firms will use this as a framework for helping companies uncover what their brand is really all about. And we provide an introduction to it in our program. We don't pretend to be a marketing or brand firm, but we work with companies that are in the process of redeveloping their strategy and looking at their company. And part of that is your brand story and how you tell it. So we use this as a tool similar to other experts who work in marketing and brand to kind of help understand what your company is all about. Are you a fun, every person brand? Are you a rebel brand? Are you an outlaw? Do you do things a little differently? Are you a trusted, sage, highly knowledgeable brand? What are the things that you emphasize to make yourself different? And these archetypes tie deeply into the unconscious mind of everyone that lives within a culture. And so that's why, a hero that was written about in, if you read any of the ancient works by the Romans and the Greeks, well, their concept of a hero is really the same concept we have today. So you could be reading Odysseus and reading about these Greek heroes, and then you could watch Star Wars, and the heroes have the same attitudes, the same ways they behave, the same things they do. And so the brand story is really a powerful technique of saying, this is what our company's about, and so here's the kind of things that we do because we're about that. And you'll notice that some of the biggest brands, not just in our industry, in any industry, have oriented around this concept as a way of staying true to what they're all about. And so we present this as material in the program, and we work with Tammi and Liam and a number of all the brokers that go through these programs with us to help identify, who they are, and then how do they stay true to their brand story. So.
Excellent. And that's something, so it kind of ties right into the objective of what, and doing this research and talking about it, is it's going to provide you a framework so you can define your brand story and put it out there, that it can clearly be clearly expressed to the consumers, to the agents and the staff. One of the challenges I see working with a lot of broker owners and teams, they jump around. They end up, don't know truly, one day they'll be a Jester brand and having fun, and the next day they're going to be the Sage brand, and they're going to be, real serious and knowledgeable in that space. And then they're going to move and try to be the Wizard brand. And that unfortunately doesn't resonate if you're jumping all over the place to that unconscious mind that Jack just shared. And we're going to talk a little deeper about that in a second here. So let's go back 120 years, flashback. If you think back, talking about Carl Jung's collective unconscious, and this is, Jack, you had talked about this, the instinctive drivers that underpin all of humankind. And this is through Carl Jung's research and understanding here. So if you look at two different people here, you talk about the conscious mind, and then you move down to the personal unconscious. And these are unique to each of us. And then there's a commonality that we all have, and that's a collective unconscious. And that's what we're talking about. When you said the Jedi, Star Wars, you didn't even see Jedi, but you said Star Wars and the hero brand, Liam thumbed up, he put a thumbs up because he's a fan of Star Wars and the Jedi, right? A little bit. Luke.
More Sith, but
Yeah. So this is where you can tie. And this is what's important to brand, is this research and this understanding. When you have the understanding that everyone is connected, no matter whether they're whoever they are, there is a collective unconscious that ties everybody together, that if you communicate consistently in that area and you know what that brand is, so you can consistently communicate in that area, you're going to create some connections. And Jack talked about Luke Skywalker that we just talked about here, other history stories that tie in. And that's what it's the same, relatively the same story, right? But it resonates and it still creates that same emotion or same passion that comes about because you're tapping into something that is collective in our unconscious beings.
That's exactly right, Dean. And one thing that we've ran across a lot is just by putting yourselves out there. So within our NextHome culture, Liam is known for socks and shoes and Oreos. And a lot of people now will come and they'll tag him on a new Oreo brand, or they'll ask him if they see him in person, Liam, what type of socks do you have on? And it's just been really fun to engage with people online throughout branding process.
Yeah.
That's super cool. Love that. Love it.
So my tombstone's going to have Oreos printed across it. So,
Yeah.
You guys. So here are the archetypes. You're probably like, all right, sounds great. We talk about hero, talk about jester, magician, different ones, sage. Here is the chart that's put together that we talk about. And if you look at here, you have, like we love putting things in quartiles, right? Yeah. So, or quadrants, I'm sorry. So you think about, if you want to start at the top right here, in the world of stability and independence, you see the two on the top here, you have innocent, sage, and explorer. And yearn for spiritual independence and fulfillment. If we move to the top left quadrant, we're looking at stability and belonging, the caregiver, the ruler, the creator. Someone provides structure, stability, and control. And if you move down to the bottom left, we've got belonging and mastery. This is everyman, jester, lover, belonging, enjoying, connecting with others. And if we move over to the bottom right, we're looking at independence and mastery. And that's where you get to the hero, the magician, and the outlaw. Someone who risks things and mastery of things, leaves a mark in society, in the world. It has a passion for that.
Yeah, so I would think of Steve Jobs' quote about it, said he wanted Apple to leave a dent in the universe. And that's kind of captures some of the gestalt of that, we're going to make a difference. We're going to leave a mark. And that's so that you think about that as and how Apple's organized around that, that concept.
Well, that's a great point, Jack, that you threw out. Because when someone thinks that if I work for Apple, and we don't even work for Apple, right? But when I hear that, that's motivational. That's like, that ties unconsciously to me. I don't have, I didn't know Steve Jobs personally, but when he throws that out, that's something that hits that unconscious.
Yeah, it resonates. Your unconscious mind goes, yeah, I like that.
Dude,
you know?
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I got goosebumps thinking about that. I think that's fantastic. So to Liam and Tammi, when we went through this exercise with you guys in the Fellows program, and we talked about brand, and we went through this exercise, which one did you come out? Which would you select as your brand?
Go ahead, Tammi.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, automatically, it was pretty simple for me. Mine came up as a gesture. I just want to have fun and exciting, the bright colors, and then with a secondary of an outlaw. So one thing personally that will drive me mad, if I'm not myself, if I'm not true to myself, and if I can't express the way I'm feeling, emotionally, I'm just not a happy person. So it's really important to me personally, and I know Liam as well, is that we're true to ourselves. When you're in a public eye, it's nerve-wracking. Well, if I post this, what type of reaction am I going to have? If I say this, what type of reaction is going to happen? So throughout the years, we were super not ourselves, and it built up and it built up, and it just became exhausting. So finally, we just came to the point where we're tired of living a lie, and we just want to be ourselves. So automatically, I came Jester with a secondary in outlaw.
And
is it? Go ahead, Liam.
No, by all means, go ahead. I'll jump in after.
No, I'm just curious when you say not ourselves. So did you feel like you were having to be, if you kind of had to fit in another brand because that was what would be proper if you're handling someone's
Correct.
largest asset of their life? I'm just trying to get your mindset prior to going through this exercise and say, you know what, screw all that other stuff. Excuse my language. I'm going to pick what I feel passionate about, and understanding it, there's connections with everybody. So if I'm myself, then that's going to be still, it's going to resonate and permeate with others.
Yeah, it was more, from what we've seen, it was always, you have to toe the line, you have to do this, you have to act a certain way. And it's very stiff. As you know, real estate is a little dated, and it's very stiff, and it's constant. You have to present a certain type instead of realize, the people you're working with are real people. And you have to meet them on their level and actually have a good experience, because this is a huge experience. It's the next chapter in their book of life, right? So for us to try to constantly toe the line and stay within a certain expectation would drive us nuts. And one of the things with T360's really opened our eyes is to who we are and what we need to be. And like Tammi said, she was Jester with the outlaw. I'm actually outlaw, and then I had 3 ties for my second. Explorer, Jester, and Magician, all across the board even. So it's like 40% outlaw and then 20. And, for me, I just got to a point where I just stopped caring of these expectations and experiencing people and talk to them on a real situation. Like Tammi talked, socks, Oreos. I'm going to talk to you about real subjects, because when I call you on the phone about a house, I'm not going to say, hey, this is Liam with NextHome Seekers, and I'm going to be dull. No, I'm going to like, hey, Brad, it's Liam. How's it going? Like, who? Oh, it's Liam, man. And I have a real conversation, and I set real expectations. I will not ever change that again.
Yeah. Awesome.
And one thing that we've learned throughout the process is to not be false or sugar-coated, and just be upfront and be ourselves. And by being ourselves, we've been able to attract people to us. It's been fantastic. They automatically know us. They know the kids. They know the dog. They know our likes. They know our dislikes. And it like cuts out a whole step of conversation. Actually, it's been really cool. So throughout the experience, NextHome Seekers as a brand, our brokerage has turned into mainly entertainer with a mix of a bit of an outlaw.
and on the side, you got people.
How does that show up? Yeah, how does that show up for you guys? What do you guys do to do that? I mean, tell me about, what are your meetings like? How do you engage with your agents? How does it show up?
My agents would tell you that when I host a meeting, other than talking too long, because my mind could be like a bag of cats shaken, in a good way though, right? So a lot of times our agents, they get excited, they get immersed, which is very important. We want you to take away something. We don't want to sit here and be like, this is the sales meeting, this is what the market, we're never going to do that. we've talked about psychology, sociology. We've hit it on a human level. And when we post online, we get edgy. We actually post stuff. And as Tammi will tell you, we posted something about tattoos and we have an amazing response. What was the numbers on that, Tammi?
That one, we had organically over 3,000 views organically. It wasn't pushed at all, and hundreds of comments. And it was just a ridiculous type tattoo XYZ to see what your next tattoo should be. So we don't keep everything real estate.
Right.
We keep it personal, fun, exciting, and then throw a little, here's a just listed house for you.
So we keep it a human level and realistic. You know, people want to talk about off the wall things. People want to have real conversations. It's just not always real estate. The one thing I see a lot of time is, oh, I got this new listing. I got this. That's great. No one cares. You know, have a good conversation with somebody and they'll care more.
Yeah.
Just our opinion.
You know, when I hear you guys as you're talking, I'm feeling like in the path and working with you over the last number of months, I'm getting the sense you're feeling really empowered.
Yes.
I mean, is that a good word?
100%. And Dean, I mean, we just had this conversation the other day, is we feel just like through T3, we were playing Jenga before it, and we had all these holes, you know, and the holes were at the point where the business was about to shatter. And we were able with T3 to fill those holes and create such a strong foundation. And it's definitely been empowering. It's empowering that we can be ourselves. It's empowering that we're confident in our abilities to attract agents and take care of them as well. And within our office space, in our office meetings, is we create a space where they feel comfortable and confident to be themselves. And that's really what we promote. We promote fun and excitement, but we also promote you being you. And that's been awesome. Awesome.
Yes.
Well, that's a sign of just great leaders, guys. I just commend you on your leadership and getting out in front.
I also think there's a core piece here, and it's part of the ethos of the T3 Fellows program. I think a lot of times brokers and leaders, whether you're running a sales team or any organization, you know, it's easy to look outside. You're looking outside and you're saying, I want to be better, and you look outside. And that you compare yourselves to others. You say, those guys are really great, or those guys are really great over there. And I think the ethos we try to teach our leadership is that it has to come from inside, and that to be yourself and to learn and know yourself. And that the better you do that, the more people will connect with your leadership and identify with the leadership journey that you're on and want to be part of that. And that's part of understanding, like, it isn't, you know, if you're going outside for everything, trying to pull your business together, you're missing the most valuable thing, which is what you have inside to offer. And, you know, your brand is an expression of that. It comes through on this webinar with you guys. You guys are fun. You are the things that are represented. Like, you can just tell by how you talk and how you move. And that's part of what's going to attract. If people are attracted to that, they're going to be attracted to your company. They're going to want to come work with you. They're going to want to come bring their clients. So I think it's very powerful.
That's exactly right, Jack. And, you know, that brings me up to a point is we have a friend up in Cape Cod, and she is amazing. Every time I watch her speak, every time I watch her on a webinar, I'm like, I love you. I love you so much. You're amazing. And I want to be like that, but I could never be that. She's a ruler archetype, and that's just not me, right?
Yeah.
But so if I were to go that way and try to act like her, I would prove to myself it wouldn't work. Now, can I imagine? Ruler archetypes are awesome, but it's not me. It's not Liam. It's not us. And watching the difference and staying true to yourself is definitely where it's at.
Yeah. I think the phrase that comes to mind is you do you. You know, like when people do themselves really well, even if that's not who you are, you're like, that person's got it going on, or that company's really figured out who they are, and I like what they're doing, and it's attractive, and it's one of the
exactly
things
right.
Because you trust it. You go, okay, well, I know what they're going to do. I know what they're going to do based on who they are, and that's the essence of affiliation with a brand, is that you trust the brand to do what it is, and that's why people join. That's why people follow.
Yep.
That's a sign of confidence. And you guys, because you're coming across, you're extremely confident because you feel much more comfortable in your own skin in your business, who you are. You've made that decision and that's empowered you, but your level of confidence just comes out. And that's attractive. That's attractive to others. I mean, people look for confident people to be around, both as agents and frankly, and just in general. So awesome. Just a great conversation. Thanks for being open and sharing all that with everybody, guys. In here, I just moving to the next slide, just show a couple of examples of other organizations, the M&Ms, you know, and the Jester brand, Geico commercial, you know, Geico insurance as well. You know, it seems like a lot of insurance companies have kind of hit into the Jester brand.
It's funny. Well, Geico did it first, and then Progressive's like, oh, we need to be more, like, insurance is boring. We need to be fun, you know? So it's funny to see the kind of how the brands have organized around certain categories where it's like, this is a boring thing. We need to make it a fun thing, an entertaining thing.
You got Liberty Mutual. You got a bunch of them do the same thing right there in insurance. Go ahead, Tammy. I'm sorry.
One really fun Jester I like is Skittles. Skittles, and it's probably the bright colors as well. But the taste of rainbow and everything. If y'all are bored on Instagram, go to Skittles and see what they do because it's so much fun. And once you realize what type of brand you are or what type of brand your brokerage is, you'll really start researching and seeing people like you. And you're like, oh my gosh, I'm just like that. And you'll resonate to those colors. So a Jester is automatically orange, which fits perfectly. And then Explorers are more, you think of Jeep and things like that. And it's just each archetype just has so much more than just a type to it. You've got colors that are associated with it. And it's just a lot of fun to really look at.
You've got moods and textures and all that. Like if you look at ruler brands, you look at, you know, a lot of them are luxury brands. So they have like a heavy use of black or dark colors or very clean lines, modern, you know. So you start to notice that, and this is one of the things we encourage brokers and sales team leaders and anybody that's building a brand to do this is start following brands that resonate with you because you'll learn some things that you can apply in your own brand about your own messaging and how to appeal to that kind of that brand affiliation. And so I'd say, you know, have some brands that you really love that you follow that are a match for you, and then you'll learn some things that you can apply. I think it's very powerful.
Now, Liam, since you're an outlaw, that doesn't mean going and acting like Eminem or anything, okay?
I don't know. I'm going to do me, you do you.
So, you know, talking like one thing I want to point out here is the apple in the magician area here, supernatural skills make dreams come true. And we talked briefly about earlier about the quote. One of the things they do really well, and we do also in the fellows program, is we evaluate you basically through an exercise evaluating everything that you're doing, from your marketing and everything, the way you package things, the way you deliver things. And I was thinking about, and we were talking briefly prior to coming on air here, talking about Apple and how the AirPods, for example, or anything you buy from them, it's not only magical in how the device works, the packaging is so unique and different in how they do it. They make it magical in how they even package their goods. So it's an alignment. They have an alignment from everything they do in their brand.
Yeah, they keep it consistent and keep it so where people recognize that it's an Apple experience they're having. And so it helps you stay consistent with yourself. This is one of the things, it's one of the hardest things I've found in developing a company's marketing is really getting the voice of the company. But that starts with the brand. It starts with what you're about. And you can't have, if you're a fun brand, you can't have a writer come in or have content created that's overly serious or academic. It has to be fun. So that's part of understanding your email marketing, your web marketing, what goes in your listing presentation, how you talk about the company, just how it kind of permeates into everything. And that's one of the things we do in the program is help you look at all your materials and determine, you know, where you need to line up or what needs to change and fit your brand better and your brand personality better.
Right. So imagine if Red Bull all of a sudden is, you know, driving a Lexus and being 100% serious. It just wouldn't work. And you're like, what's going on here? So staying consistent, definitely key.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point, Tammy. And, you know, a lot of people, you know, culture is very important to them. The culture of their organization, the culture, you know, track and things. And sometimes if they don't go through the brand exercise and have have clarity on their brand, trying to have a really good culture is very difficult.
Yep.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, it's a mishap. You're going to miss each other and not be able to communicate in a clear way. So what's your company archetype? Here are the ones that are out there as we shared and went through the whole graph. Gives you a sense of, you want to quickly take a picture of it. I'm curious if you're interested, you can do work on it. Go ahead, Jack.
And I also asked Shannon, she's going to post in a link. There's a brand personality quiz that's kind of fun. That gives you a taste of this, where you go, it's going to ask you some questions and you can determine where you are as a brand personality. And we recommend the sales team leaders and broker owners that they take it to understand themselves a little bit better. So it's fun. You learn something about yourself and kind of can start to orient around a brand personality for your company and for yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Excellent. All right. So that's, guys, interesting on the brand and that module. That's one of the 10 modules that we dive into in the course of the Fellows program. And that brings us to wrapping up here and talking about the Fellows programs. It's 12 months that we work together with you and your organization. We do have one-on-one consulting and coaching to close gaps that you have. We start with foundational information, talking about where you are as an organization, and then we build from there. Twice a year retreats, learning new skills that every broker needs. That's all part of the 10 key areas. You're working with a community of other broker owners or team leaders that are looking to grow. We also have T3 advisors, which are mentors in the program, that share some of their specialties and what they've done extremely well in running their businesses, and they share it with you as we go through the program. If you need or want more information on that, feel free to visit t3fellows.com. You can get a ton of information right there. It literally lays out all the modules, and we do have some online recordings from people who've in the program or have gone through the program. Tammi, Liam, any comments you might have about the Fellows program you want to share with everybody before we close it out?
Yeah, I think for us, this was a no-brainer. And I think for anybody that really wants to make an impact on their business, this is a no-brainer. Just from the first module, I remember deep diving the company, seeing where money's going, how it's actually coming in. And you get a wake-up call where it's very uncomfortable. Yeah. You're looking at it like, damn it. Like, I just lost that much money. I didn't even realize it. And, when we interview agents, we do ask how they're spending their money on, leads or whatever. And the majority of people don't know where their money's going or how much is coming in. And that deep dive really helped us out a lot. That was like key to me. What about you, Tammi?
It's been a great process. The branding has been one of my favorites, but also throughout the transition is we've learned how to restructure our brokerage and really for it to be so much more powerful as to, like I said, filling in those holes in where it was broken. So now going into the end of the year, well, mid-year, I'm ready for the end of the year. Now really going in and getting ready for our last push and finishing out this year, I'm ready to take on 2021 and just really go so strong with everything that we've learned in the last year. So a lot of people are asking, like, how many agents have you gained, or have you done this, have you done that? All those modules are in there, and how to really take your entire brokerage to the next level. But just remember, it takes time and everything doesn't happen overnight. So we've had a great time and we've learned so much throughout the process, and we still have a few more months to go. So we're really excited about it.
And Tammi says, I talk too much, right?
Well, I got to get all my thoughts out there. Okay.
No, too, when you say like end of year, you're already strategically thinking about, pushing and rolling out programs that you're going to get this next wave of business, things like that. So I love it. I love it. Thank you for sharing all that. There are some requirements talking about the T3 Fellows program. We want you to have some staff in place because you're going to be spending some time working on your business. If you have questions, it must be committed to growth, must have stable sales and revenue coming in. It's not a sales coaching program. No way. It's all about helping you run a more efficient, more profitable organization, whether that's a brokerage or whether it's a team. If you have questions, you can feel free to reach out to me at dean@t360.com. Application. It is an application process, the Fellows. So when you go to the t3fellows.com, there is an application right there. You'll see it. Feel free. It comes right to me. I'll reach out. We'll schedule a time for a quick call that will review the application, talk about the program, and talk about next steps. talk about acceptance and recommendations, personal commitment, monthly contract, and the program is enrolling now. We're going to be kicking this off in July. So we're enrolling right now for the July start. So go ahead to the website, apply, and move forward if you want to take your business to, as Tammi just said, the next level. Yep. Can't agree completely. Any closing words from either you guys, Jack or Liam or Tammi?
I want to pop in there. Surprise. One thing that I do want to throw out there is we were with T3 during COVID, and seeing everything and how quickly they jumped on to help us through our business is I literally, and we're in a secondary market, so we got hit a lot harder and just went dead for 2 months. I mean, 2 months straight, there was nothing going on. So literally within the first week, I texted Dean and I said, hey, Dean, can you go over finances with me? Within 24 hours, we set up, well, it was faster than that, but within 24 to 48 hours, we had a meeting and life was good. He took the time to go over finances with us, and they provided content and provided guidance throughout the process with masterminds. And it was 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Yeah.
Masterminds, Tactical Tuesdays, right? Fireside chats.
It's just been insane where they jumped on and didn't wait for, oh, let's just watch this roll over. As a company, they came together and created a solution for not just people in their program, but anyone nationwide. And it's been insane to really watch the company and how they jumped on. And if you haven't already, check out the Tech 500 and see what your brokerage has done with that, because that was a game changer as well.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's been, since COVID, it really helped us reprogram our business and even reaffirmed our mindset. We're very slow to hire and quick to fire. We don't really even recruit per se. We do, but at the same time, we don't go crazy on it. People actually come to us and they talk to us, and because of who we are and what we are projecting with our company. So with COVID, we just refocused. And as soon as everything opened back up, now we're booming in business again, and things are just jumping at us. I've had several people call me just alone about listing their house, and I didn't even think of, other than checking in with them, which I sent out like 152 different individual bomb videos, just checking and make sure everybody was okay. But it gave us that reassertion of to be okay who we are and to reaffirm what we're doing. It's been fantastic.
So it's been awesome. We're really happy that T360 has been with us through the experience 100%. And another thing, and this goes back to branding and just being by yourself, is last night we decided we watched Indiana Jones with the kids. As much as they fought against it, they didn't want to watch it. But then by the end of it, they always trusted them. It's like, oh, let's go for number 2. So Liam made a post, checked in, watching Indiana Jones with the kids. And then before we know it, we've got 3 realtors that are literally like, oh my gosh, I love that movie. It's been too long. Let's get together. They don't work for us. And they're asking automatically, let's get together. We want to see you. We want to see the baby. And here we are. Easy peasy.
Tammi, that's awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And you touched on something, and something I'll throw out to everybody who's watching this or watching it on the video, is we also dive into your tech stack. What do you have technology-wise?
Yeah,
we do a complete overview of that. We have specialty right there with Jack.
A lot of our brokers made changes during COVID and are still making changes because of the realization that we've moved into a world where being able to operate remote and online is more important. That's a big focus. There's a great replay webinar on the prepare.t360.com. We talked about the Tech 500 and went over some of the categories. And again, we posted the link to the Tech 500 there. So there's some good materials and replays there available for everybody on this call. All still valid stuff, all still good. Don't have to be in the middle of the COVID for that to be useful information. So, and I just want to say, Tammi and Liam, you guys have been great. Participated in the program, really jumped in. You're exactly who we're looking for, people that want to make an impact to their business, want to make a big change and a big move, and want to take it to a new level of leadership. And that's just such a pleasure working with brokers and leaders that are that want to do that. That is what fires Dean and I and the rest of the T360 team up. That's why we get out of bed in the morning, is to help people just like you. And we don't do the work. We just kind of give you nudges in the right direction, provide you hopefully some shortcuts, make it less risky to go make those moves. But then you guys have to get out there on the field and play, and y'all play hard. And it's so great to watch. And we love watching your company grow. And it's so great to hear that you've, even during this COVID situation, have brought in some agents and have really made use of that material. So there's nothing more fulfilling than hearing feedback like that. So that's awesome.
It's been an awesome time for us. So just everyone watching, if you take anything from this webinar, do your branding personality little quiz and go check out the Tech 500. It's very important, and it will be a life changer.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Thank you, guys.
No, I think we can close it out right there.
Yeah.
Thanks so much. Tammi, Liam, you guys are awesome. Thanks for coming on and sharing your insights with everybody. I greatly appreciate it. Jack, always good to be working with you. Great job. With that, we'll go ahead and close it out, guys. Thank you so much
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks,
popping in.
everyone.
Awesome, Dean. Thanks. Take care, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.